If you're new to my channel, I like reading romance, fantasy romance, paranormal romance, any kind of genre of romance in general. And today's video is going to be my January end of the month wrap up. I'll link my mid-month wrap up down below in the description, so please check that out. In total, for the month of January, I read a total of 37 books. The first book I read is Cruel Intentions, book 1. And I read this book because of Robin from Paperbacks and Planners. And it's about two detectives who get paired together because they both want to solve the case because this young boy was murdered and he was part of the LGBTQ community, and both the cops are from the LGBTQ, all are from that community as well. So they really want to figure out who murdered this poor kid. And one of the cops is very friendly, and one of the cops are very grumpy. I like this book. It reminded me of those TSI type things, except make it queer. I give this book 4 stars. It reminded me of a TV show. I liked it. And I believe the two heroes eventually get into a relationship, I believe. But Robin said this is a slow burn romance. And I believe this series has a lot of books in it. But I think they're only about 200 pages. Next, I read The Player Next Door by K.A. Tucker. And this is about this girl and this guy who used to date in high school for like a summer, but then the hero broke the heroine's heart when he breaks up with him the senior year of high school and goes back to the cheerleader. Years later, the heroine comes back to the town of Poison Falls, and her neighbor ends up being the ex-boyfriend in high school that broke her heart. And she doesn't want to associate with him, but circumstances force them together, like the fact that his son is in her class, and the fact that her house keeps breaking down, and he is a handy person, so he offers to help her fix the problems in her house. So circumstances keep pushing them back together, and eventually they have a relationship, but the problem is they have to keep it a secret because the fact that she is his son's teacher and that the ex-wife is the popular girl that he broke up with her for. So that's what's going on in this book. I gave this book 4 stars. Next, I read the first 3 books in the Vampire Academy series. And if you don't know what Vampire Academy is about, it's about Rose. And she's a vampire and she is charged to protect Lisa, the vampire princess. And they go to this school, and Rose has and it's about them trying to figure out their powers and going to school and all this stuff. And you find out more about the world. But I love this book so much. I love this series so much. It was my first foray into vampires, and it's because of this book I have a love for age gaps and student-teacher relationships and romance books. So I read Vampire Academy, Frostbite, and Shadow Kiss. I gave Vampire Academy 3 stars, Frostbite 4 stars, and Shadow Kiss 4 stars. Shadow Kiss is where the series really starts to get going, in my opinion. Next, I read the first few books I read the entirety of the Honey Mountain series by Laura Pavlov. And I will just say my ratings for these books because I have a whole ranking video of this series. So please watch, if you want to know more about this series, please watch my video down below in the description. The first book is Always Mine. It's a friends to lovers romance. I give this book 3 stars. The second book is a second chance romance. It's called Evermine. I give this book 5 stars. The third book is called Make You Mine. It's a single dad romance. I give this book 4 stars. The fourth book in this series is called Simply Mine. It's a best friend's older brother romance, and I give this book 5 stars. And the last book in this series, Only Mine, it's a enemies to lovers romance boss employee, and I gave this 5 stars. I read the Honey Mountain series because of Morgan from Nothing Better from Nothing Better Than a Book. She loves this series and she always talks about it in her videos, so I wanted to give this book a try, and I really liked it. Next, I read The Frat Boy by Nikki Sloan, and it's about the hero and the heroine who are both part of a fraternity, and they both get kicked out of their fraternities for some reason. They answer an ad in this for placement, and it turns out the owners of the building are part of the adult entertainment industry, and to stay there they have to audition, and they audition, and the hero and the heroine are both surprised that their audition partner is the guy and the girl that they don't like, because they think they are the reasons they got kicked out in the first place. So it's an enemies to lovers romance. And I really liked the hero in this story and the heroine, and it was a spicy time, but I didn't expect the emotional connection between the hero and the heroine. I gave this book 4 stars, and I read this book for Smut Club, run by Cheyenne from That Tall Book Girl and McKay from Oh Hey It's McKay. Then I read House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas, and I read this for the SJM along, run by Jen over at the Book Refuge. I give this book 5 stars. It's about Bryce, who's trying to figure out who murdered her best friend, and she gets paired up with Hunt, and they both try to find out how Danica died and why does she die, and it's a whole mystery element. I like this book. I give this book 5 stars. Then I read Unbroken Bonds, and then I read Forced Bonds by J. Bree. It is the 5th book in her Bonds That Tie series, and I give this book 4 stars. Then I read the last book in the Bonds That Tie series, and that's Unbroken Bonds, and I give this book 3 stars. And it's if you don't know what the Bonds That Tie series is, it's a Why Choose paranormal romance series by J. Bree. The next book I read is Bliss by A.R. Breck, and I read this book because of the Out of Bounds book club, run by McKay from Oh Hey It's McKay and Nikki from Nikki and Bookland, and this book was terrible. I give this book 2 stars. I did not connect with the hero and heroine at all. It was trying to be an emotional read, but I felt no emotion at all. No connection with the characters in it. This book was just terrible. Next, I read The Last Kiss because of Crystal from Crystal Bookish Life, and the heroine is suffering from heart failure. And one night she decides to live on the edge, and she goes to this bar and she meets this Frenchman, and they have this one night stand. And the heroine tells the hero a different name than the one she really had. And so, because she thinks she'll never see the hero again, and she goes to another doctor's appointment, and she gets more bad news, and the hero sees her on the street and stops her, and they made a bet the first time, if he sees her again, she will tell him her real name, and the hero and the heroine start to form this connection, start to bond, but the problem is that the heroine does not want to tell the hero about her sickness, and the hero is also keeping something from the heroine. I love this book. I give this book 5 stars. Another great recommendation from Crystal. The last 5 books I'm gonna also go by really fast because those are the books that I read for the Kindle Unlimited Readathon. And if you want to know my full thoughts on these books, please go watch my video. The first book I read for the Readathon was The Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I gave this book 4 stars. The next book I read for the Readathon is Iced Out by C.E. Ritchie, and it's an romance. I also gave this book 4 stars. And for that Readathon, I read the arc of Powerless, and I gave Powerless by Elsie Silver 6 stars. And then I read King of the Court by J.R.S. Gray, and I really enjoyed it. I gave this book 5 stars. Next, the last book I read for the Readathon was Garnet Flats by Devin Perry. Stars. And please, if you want to know my full thoughts on these books, please go watch my Kindle Unlimited Readathon reading recap. I have the link down below in the description, so please go watch it if you want to know my full thoughts on these books. Those are all the books that I read for the second half of January. All in all, I read 37 books. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. That would mean the world to me. And I'll see you Monday. Bye.